I start off, I would like to put a disclaimer. If there is any Indians in this room, please don't take my comments negatively, because it may impact how you think about Indians for the rest of your life. Now, the Indian population is over 1 billion. Has anyone thought how they got to 1 billion? Chinese even there as well, but Indians got there. Now, that makes you think they couldn't survive in that one country. So they started spreading out everywhere. And the next thing you know, they started going to Africa and other Western countries. So that's where the process is evolved. I was born in Kenya, but I've actually reached Australia. Lucky, my accent is not very Indianish, though I try and make it because it cracks me up myself. So, many of you might know the Simpsons cartoon. And from the Simpsons cartoon, there's this fellow called Apu, who owns the Quickie Mart. And there's his famous words, he says, "Thank you, come again." And many people have tried to attribute Indians with that type of accent. And I don't know, but I don't think that's ever going to change. Now, as Indians have moved to Western countries, I think there are certain things to keep in mind so that they're not trying to offend you, but I think it's just who they are, how they're built, and hopefully they change. One of the first things is, Indians are cheap. Indians are cheap. I thought Chinese were cheap, but Indians are way cheap. I'm Indian actually, and I don't know, I just say we're proud to be cheap. I just found out that if we're so dedicated to being cheap, that the Indians created the number 0. And how this came about was many, many years ago. This is going years and way, way long time back. There was a fellow Indian, and he was looking at the numeric system. And he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And he looked at the numbers and said, none of these numbers are something that I want to pay. So a friend of his comes along and draws a circle. And this fellow asks and says, "What's this?" The guy says, "Nothing." "What's inside it?" "Nothing." "What is its value?" "Nothing." So this fellow went, "Ah, this is beautiful. Let's call it 0. So the cheapness will not go away from Indians. Starting from that 0, I mean, there's another time that I actually went to Sydney, and I went to go shopping for suits. I love wearing suits. And I went inside the store, and I went up to the salesman asking for a Giorgio Armani suit. And as I went, and as I reached the counter or the hanger where the suits were laid, there's an Italian fellow who came by. And next to him was an Indian man. Not me, another person. So the Italian man looked at the suit, he felt the fabric and said, "Ah, this looks good, I'm going to buy this." So the salesman took him to the counter. Next thing, the salesman returned back and asked the Indian man, "What do you feel about this?" He said, "I don't know. I don't know. I can probably get this made in India for $20. So the salesman went away, and this Indian man took out a knife when no one's looking, and he ripped the suit, ripped it. And then he went and called the salesman, and he said, "How much for this price of this ripped suit?" "I don't mind ripped suits." Going from the cheapness, I think there's another thing for the gestures. I don't know if you've noticed Indian men with gestures. They love using their hands a lot. So one of the things is that you might have seen something like this. That's called the light bulb movement. "What are you doing?" Where are you going? That's the movement. You meet any Indian person, say, where are you going? He'll understand what you're saying. He might not have heard you, but he'll know what you're saying. Bollywood dancing, which is Indian dancing, that's what they do. They take it's like a light bulb. They go dance. They use a lot of gestures. What else? I've heard someone on the phone talking back to his country, somewhere overseas, and he can't hear, saying, hello? Hello? Nothing is coming. Nothing is coming. This is how he uses it. One more thing. Another thing that you can notice is they like to shake their head like this. It's okay. It is very okay. Normally when I notice any of these gestures, I know he's Indian. Definitely Indian. Anyway, these are some things to always keep in mind about. But one thing I can tell about Indians coming to Western countries, if I was to meet someone, I would tell them to come to the Toastmasters Club. Because not only can they improve their pronunciations, they can also improve their gestures and think how to go about in a club like this. They might stop walking with their pinky fingers together, two men. They don't mind. We think it's gay. But they don't mind walking like this. Hello. I'll walk with the fingers. I'll see a girl and say, you look very lovely today. So anyway, I think the Toastmasters Club will really do very well and will help them to settle in Western countries. Thank you.